She's not breaking up with somebody for a decade. She sits around in it.
I pretended like everything was okay.
It was time for her to leave, and she did.
I want to talk about your new podcast because it really is something where you are helping people get where you are in a sense.
I will talk to some of the most incredible self-made business people in the world.
I honestly entered into this and did not realize how much that's true. The show, you have an idea about what a show is going to be, and then you get into it and it just crystallizes into what it is. And what it really is, it's all me. It's not about gossip. It's not about who someone's dating or, anything nonsense. It's all about like how people got to where they are. They're non-traditional, circuitous route to success. And these people are all game changers. They're all visionaries, geniuses, billionaires, and that's the bar. I only have people on that have really made a mark in this world, and they're giving it all. They're really giving me everything. So there's so much that people aren't getting anywhere else. It is so great. I can't even tell you. It's so much better than I imagined it could be.
I'm watching you all over the place talking about the podcast, and I was like, this is so Bethenny. She knows how to promote. She knows how to launch. She knows how to build a business. It's so you. And so it seems like you're putting your own kind of ideas to work and play right now.
I think it's what I'm meant to do. I prepare for it more than I've ever prepared for anything. I take it so seriously. You're talking to Maria Shriver, whose uncle was JFK and who's interviewed presidents on Air Force One. I'm not coming in like an idiot. You know what I mean? You have to know your stuff and not waste their time. And people, Mark Cuban's giving me an hour of his time. Do you know how important time is to someone so busy? So it's really good. And I can't believe they're trusting me with their lives and their personal stories. And it's really good. And there's so many threads that no matter how different people are, there are just certain tenets that they all have that are in common, which is why they're successful. So that's the way that the audience is really going to get it.
You surprised fans by hanging out with Dorinda, and people loved it.
We have gotten really much closer, and it's better that we got closer not being on the show, because it means that it's not because of the show. And many friendships are forged because of the show. And then you get off and you just are not interested in being friends with those people. So she and I, we are very good at advice for each other, life advice. I think she's a great person. I'm working on projects with her. I have a production company, so I think she'd be great for certain projects. So that's amazing. And it was the best thing that ever happened to her, that she was let go, because she's sort of blossoming and coming alive. And she's just not, she calls me sink your battleship. I make a decision, I leave. I want to do something, I go. She's not like that. She's not breaking up with somebody for a decade. She sits around in it. So she wouldn't have left, and she didn't even realize it was time for her to leave. So for this time, it was time for her to leave, and she did. And she's really happy, and she's kind of feeling herself right now, which is great.
By the way, there's talk that Kathy Hilton could join the Housewives of Beverly Hills. What do you think of that?
Well, I used to work for her. I used to be Paris and Nikki's nanny. She'd be great. She'd be great. She's going to come in. She's a matriarch. She runs the show, and that either works or it doesn't. She might learn a lot about herself, or she will actually run the show. But she's got a lot of wisdom. I mean, growing up, knowing her and Kyle and the whole family, she's got a power and a presence. And Kyle, used to really need advice from her and look up to her, and it was almost like a mother figure. So, it'll be interesting. You got to have a strong character and a strong skin. But I don't know if she would do it. I don't think that that's true, actually. I don't think so. I don't know. I didn't ask Nikki this time, and I wouldn't tell you what Nikki said now. But I feel like that has been going on for years, and Nikki was like, absolutely not. So, the world does turn, and she could have changed her mind, but I don't think so.
Did you see Paris's documentary?
I feel like the whole world thinks they know me.
That's hot. That's hot. That's bad.
Sorry, I'm so used to playing a character that it's hard for me to be normal.
No one really knows who I am.
Beyond. She was on my podcast. You can't even know how good she was in that documentary. And on my podcast, her publicist, we share a publicist, who said to me, it's the best interview she's ever done. It was amazing. And it was just so free and not canned, and she didn't know any of the questions, and we spoke for an hour, and she was just so revealing and amazing, and I was really proud of her.
You're going to talk about everything from parenting to relationships to everything in this podcast. What is the one thing, though, that fans ask you the most that you think will be answered in this podcast?
I just get things done. So people ask me, how do you do it all? How do you balance it? I'm very present. I'm very deliberate. I'm very decisive. Very decisive. And by the way, I know, for example, I know Andy Cohen really well. I did not realize how decisive he is until we talked on our podcast, because he's sort of chilling and hanging out. And that was something I'm like, oh, wow, me too. And I didn't realize that Andy Cohen had to have a job in high school, like had to have a job. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. And Mark Cuban said to me something that another person who's like a mentor to me said: people who are not happy are unhappier when they make money. People who are happy are happier when they make money. Dana White, who's the head of the UFC, there's no, and I'm the same. He's like, there's no, don't tell me no. And I say, my motto is a place of yes. So I have something in common with all these people, and they have something in common with each other. So it's really cool.
What is something that you've learned about successful people, or something you see in successful people that really make you see that why they're different from everyone else?
Old school hard work. What I grew up knowing is hard work, not like a filtered Instagram post, giving your card and schmoozing people and knowing people are growing up, going to the right schools, not going to Harvard, you know what it is? Hard work. You're not above anything. You work your ass off. You come from a place of yes, you get it done, you figure it out. Hard work, number one. Number two, you weren't hands at everything. For most people, or just for some reason, you just intuitively know that you have to have a job. Like, you have to get on the road. You can't keep talking about it.
I also think that you have to have an inner fire. You never stop moving. When do you take a breath?
I have an inner fire for sure, but I do rest. I don't get it a lot, but value sleep. I don't have a social life. I just like to be with my daughter. I like to be with my friends. I like to be in my pajamas with my dog, and I like to work and get things done. And that's just who I am.
You have been posting a lot more with Bryn as she's growing up. Is it weird? How's that changing your relationship, and how will it be as she grows up? And look, teenagers do not want to hang with their parents at all. So how will that be for you?
She's not, super present in social media, but once in a while she'll be like, jumps in the picture and wants to be part of the program because, it's so much about me and the public. And, and she likes dancing on TikTok. But I mean, what they say is true. You just need to value the time. I spend every waking moment that I can with her. I mean, we are glued to each other. We're just quarantine partners. We are best friends. We just live for each other. I just devour her because it's just, I know that it's got an expiration date. I hope it doesn't, and it'll be a different relationship, but it's just the best relationship you could possibly have. It's so amazing.
Hard to believe that it is 15 years ago that you made your first foray into reality TV. Martha's Apprentice. Yes.
The more and more I move through this process, and in particular this task, it's always me with a big idea.
What do you remember about that?
I remember that we got into that loft and I felt like a racehorse that was just, in the gate, and it didn't matter who anybody was. It didn't matter what background we came from. It didn't matter rich, poor, nobody, just like, here is the task, go get them. And I remember, finding it hard to get my footing and it being such a crazy intense experience because it was not the Celebrity Apprentice. We were in lockdown. We were sequestered. We had no phone, no paper, no newspapers, no access, lights on. We were in an exposed room to sleep. I had to have a mask on. And I learned so much because I just realized that I was as good as I thought I was. You don't know until you get into into a group with a bunch of people. Am I just blowing flowers at my skirt, or do I got it? And I thought on that show, I hit my stride and I got it.
You got it. I can tell you got it. At the end of the day, what do you want? Because you're doing so many things, but what do you want?
I don't know. I don't have any big goals. I never said I got to be a billionaire. I never said I need to be anything. I go with ideas that I like to execute, but I could go all the way with this thing. I mean, we're hitting our stride right now with my business, and I don't think there's any stopping me. And I felt this years ago when my book Naturally Thin came out. I could feel, people at home who are business people or wannabe or entrepreneurs, you feel it like a set of waves coming in. You feel like, oh God, this is happening right now. It's happening right now. And so I'm enjoying that, and the rocket is flying, and I'm ready. I got to stay on. So that's what's going on now. And I just want to I love my time with my daughter. I love being a great parent and being together and laughing and snuggling and just like loving her. I love executing my work dreams. I love building beautiful homes and just loving them and I'm very house proud. And we'll just see where it all takes us. You know what I mean? I love being in a good, strong partnership relationship. So, I'm just taking everything day by day, but really it's good now, really good.